Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something called Cashu. It's this really clever protocol built right on top of Bitcoin, and its whole goal is to bring back something we've kind of lost in the digital age: privacy. You know, the kind you get with physical cash. So let's jump right in and see how it works.
All right, let me ask you something. When you go buy a coffee and you tap your card, do you ever think about what's happening behind the scenes? Every time you do that, a little digital footprint is left behind. Your bank knows exactly when, where, and how much you spent. And the real question is, should they? This gets right to the heart of the problem Cashu is trying to solve.
And you can see the difference right here. It's pretty stark. On one side, you have your typical digital payment. It's tied to your ID, it tracks your balance, and it creates this long, permanent history of everything you do. But then you look at Cashu's ecash. It's totally anonymous, it's untraceable, and it works on this wild principle. The data itself is the money.
So, why is this such a big deal? Well, to really get it, we need to talk about something called the custodian's dilemma. It kind of peels back the curtain on all these convenient digital services we use and shows the hidden cost that comes with them. Anytime you hand your money over to someone else, a bank, a payment app, a custodian, right, you're basically facing two big risks. The first one is obvious, custodial risk. They could get hacked, they could go under, they could lose your funds. But the second one is just as important. You have zero privacy. By their very nature, they have to watch everything you do.
And here's the kicker. This isn't some bug in the system, it's a fundamental feature. For their system to even function, they have to know who you are, how much money you have, and the details of every single transaction. In that model, privacy isn't just hard to achieve, it's literally impossible by design. So, how do you get around that?
Well, the answer lies in this really elegant and powerful cryptographic idea. It's called a blind signature.
So what on earth is a blind signature? Honestly, it sounds a little bit like magic. Think about it like this. What if you could put your official, legally binding signature on a document to prove it's authentic, but without ever actually reading the document itself? The signer validates it, but they have absolutely no idea what they just signed. This is the core trick that makes all of this private digital cash possible.
This carbon paper analogy makes it super clear how it works. So picture this. Alice writes down a secret. This is going to be our digital money token. She puts that secret inside an envelope lined with carbon paper and seals it up. She gives this envelope to Bob, who's acting as our ment. Bob can't see inside, but he signs the outside of the envelope. Because of the carbon paper, his signature transfers through to the secret note inside. Alice gets the envelope back, opens it up, and what does she have? She has a secret that is verifiably signed by Bob, but Bob has absolutely no clue what secret he just put his name on.
All right, pretty cool concept, right? So let's take that idea and see how it actually plays out in a real transaction using the Cashu protocol. Now, the fancy technical name for the specific method Cashu uses is BDHK. Yeah, it's a total mouthful, don't worry about memorizing it. All you really need to know is that this is the cryptographic engine that makes the whole blind signature process work for these private ecash tokens. And to walk through this, let's bring back our usual crew. We've got Alice, she's our sending user. We've got Bob, he's going to be our mint, the one issuing the tokens. And we've got Carol, who will be receiving the money. The whole life of one of these tokens breaks down into 4 simple steps, and it's going to sound really familiar. First, Alice blinds her token. That's like putting it in the carbon envelope. Second, Bob the mint signs it without seeing it. Third, Alice unblinds it, taking it out of the envelope. She now has a valid signed token that only she knows about. And finally, verification. When that token is eventually spent, the mint can check the signature and confirm, yep, that's my signature, this is legit. But here's the absolute magic of it. The mint cannot connect the blinded token it signed for Alice in step 2 with the unblinded token that's being spent in step 4. The link is completely cryptographically broken. Okay, this private system is awesome in theory, but how does it actually connect to the real world? Like, how do you get your Bitcoin in and out of this thing? Well, that's where Bitcoin's Lightning Network steps in. You can basically think of the Lightning Network as the essential bridge here. It's the connecting tissue that lets you move value seamlessly between this totally private, anonymous Cashu world and the broader, public Bitcoin ecosystem. The whole thing works through 2 simple actions: minting and melting. If you want to get some of this private ecash, you mint it. You just pay a mint's Lightning invoice, and boom, they send you back these private ecash tokens. Ready to spend it back on the regular Bitcoin network? That's melting.
You give the private tokens back to the mint, and they pay a Lightning invoice for you. It's a super slick on-ramp and off-ramp. So now that we have these private digital tokens that act just like cash, what can we actually do with them? This is where things get really, really cool. This ecash has properties that are just totally different from other digital money. First off, it's untraceable. The mint is blind. Second, it's a bearer token. That means whoever holds the data literally holds the value, just like holding a dollar bill in your hand. It also has a push user experience. You can just send the money, kind of throw it to someone without needing their permission first. And maybe the most mind-blowing part, it's programmable. You can build all sorts of complex rules and conditions right into the money itself. Yeah, I want to pause on this quote for a second because it's a real game changer. The data is the money. What that means is you can literally embed value inside of any digital thing. You can stick money in an email, a chat message, an API call. The value becomes a native part of the data itself. It's incredibly portable and powerful. And this just blows the doors wide open for new use cases. I mean, think about it. Paywalls for articles where the publisher has no idea who's paying. Truly anonymous tips or zaps on social networks like Nostra. You could even send payments to people who are completely offline, or do complex, trustless swaps between different assets, all in private. The design space here is just massive. So to wrap it all up, what Cashu really does is it takes this brilliant, decades-old idea from the cryptographer David Chaum, this idea of chummy and ecash, and it finally makes it a practical reality for everyday Bitcoin users. It successfully brings back the single most important property of physical cash, privacy, to our digital world. And that really leaves us with one big, thought-provoking question. We are just scratching the surface of what this kind of technology enables. So what new applications, what new services, what new forms of human interaction are we going to build when our digital money is finally as private and as free as the cash in our pockets? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you found it insightful. Until next time.